Well, hello there. Another beautiful evening in our wonderful world of shot through the heart. Our shutdown, lockdown, meltdown. And last week I made a video. I was saying that you all need to just maybe find some busybody stuff to keep yourself occupied during this whole pandemic. And so I did all those things. I followed my advice and cleaned up everything and tidied up and tied it up again. And it wasn't enough. So if it wasn't enough for me, is it enough for you? And if I'm me and you're me and I'm you, what are we all doing? Well, Trump came out and gave an executive order saying that you need to open up the houses of worship. And his little bobblehead secretary said that you need to go out and worship your gods. I found that extremely odd that she used those words. People need to go out and worship their gods. And that's coming from the press secretary of the President of the United States of America. You need to go out and worship your gods. She didn't say, go out and worship God. She used the plural. So, WTF? Oh, yeah. You need to go out and worship your gods. That is another arrow in the cap. I know that's not the turn of phrase, but I mean, really, if they can't get their messaging straight, or is it them getting their messaging straight? You need to go out and worship your gods. I mean, there's Christianity and Judaism, and you got your imams, and they mentioned all of those. They mentioned the three major religions, but she said people need to go out and worship their gods. So, is that the official stance of this administration? There are multiple gods? Are there multiple gods? I mean, people definitely find solace in let's say my archangel, guardian angel, Michael, looks after me. But that's not my God. I mean, that's not God. And I would not presume there are multiple gods. I mean, there's prophets. There are figureheads. But as for go out and worship gods, GODS, that's quite disconcerting coming from the state. That they would presume, I guess they are actually assuming there are multiple gods. So, WTF? In any case, another week later, another week lockdown, shutdown, meltdown, and people are starting to get back to work. That's the turn of the phrase of the week, right? Everybody's getting back to work in certain states with certain restrictions. What the fuck do we need restrictions to get back to work? I mean, it was nice, in the first couple weeks where I had been working non-stop for probably 2 years straight, maybe even 2.5. I'd say from 2017 to 2019, I had maybe 3 weeks off. So over the course of a few years, I had a few weeks off where I could just sit back and do nothing. That was nice. But it is really nice to just go out and do something. Just go out and do something. But when you go out in the world today, in my area, you go out to houses, everybody's home, so I'll knock on a door, and if they're not asleep or drunk, they're out in their backyard, or they're fixing up their house, they're doing little projects. So I would hope after at the very least, at the very minimum, when we come out on the other side of this, that everybody has the nicest space that they can create for themselves. So maybe that space will last for, I don't know how long. How long will that space last for? Excuse me. So you're at home and you're like looking at your kitchen window. I need to caulk that. So you caulked it. So you caulked the window, you've gone through your junk drawer, you've gone into that other room, you've gone through your filing cabinet 3 times. And so what are we going to start doing after we come out of this? Are we going to start refilling it, letting it go to waste? Are you going to let that kitchen window go to shit? Are you going to just sit at home and make your domicile better? So once you've done that, have you reached out to any of your neighbors? Social distancing, talking to your neighbors and seeing what they've done, seeing how they're coping with it. Have you done that? Have you seen how the shutdown, lockdown, meltdown has affected those around you? Or are you shut in? Well, I reached out to a few neighbors and mixed results, I guess. But I would say they were all positive results, because now I know my neighbors a little better. I'm not concerned with their well-being. I would think that maybe now that they know me a little better, if I had something come up physically, they would be more concerned with my well-being. So those around you are affected by your well-being, and you can affect those around you with your well-being. So there's a little space there for us to reach out, put our tentacles in, and put our web out. So all you shut-ins who are afraid of your neighbors, I mean, well, if they're not spreading a virus and you're not spreading a virus, then you can't get a virus from them, right? So I would say maybe if you reach out to somebody that is in a safe zone, get to know your fucking neighbor. I mean, what the hell else do you have to do? Get to know, the person behind you. I mean, so what if you don't care if you like them or not? Get to know them. What the fuck? Doesn't matter. I mean, you've been living next to them for however long. How long have you been living next to your neighbor, and you don't know them? You haven't talked to them. Just put a feeler out. I mean, the places of worship are now supposed to be open by executive order from the government, but local governments are overriding and squashing the places of worship being open. So fuck them all. Fuck them all. Just put a little feeler out to your neighbor. Get to know them. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? I mean, you're going to find that you live next to a serial killer? Well, fucking serial killer? Oh, wow, that's quite an interesting thing to find out about somebody. And you can... I'm being facetious, but seriously, I mean, you're going to find out that your neighbor is quite interesting. And it's not something that you've done. Maybe it is something you've done, and you can commiserate. But let's say it's not something that you've ever been through, ever done, and they have some other life experience that they can tell you about. At least you'll get an interesting story. I mean, there's no new content on YouTube, on Hulu, on Disney Plus. I mean, the major Hollywood conglomeration, they're not putting out any new stuff right now. So, your local soaps, that's what you got right now. So just go out, meet your neighbor, freaking learn what they're doing. I mean, tell them what you did. Tell them what you did today. Drink a beer with them. If you drink beer, they don't drink beer. Find out why they don't drink beer. Find out why they don't drink. Find out, and then let them question you on why you do drink. I mean, shit. What? I mean, would you smoke pot? I dropped LSD in the 90s. I mean, find out these things. I mean, we're decentralized for a reason. Let's make the best of it. Anywho, I don't think that was the reason why I popped on this stream tonight. I just kind of wanted to check in, make sure everybody that would care is doing the best they can to do the best they can in our situation. I mean, you may be in Florida and you can go to the beach, but you can't lay down or whatever the local meltdown, lockdown, shutdown, quarantine tells you to do. You can't go to the park. You can go to the park, but there's still a whole lot of people out there that are just making the best of it. And those that aren't making the best of it, I think maybe you might want to reach out to them to see how they are doing. I mean, like, we go through snowstorms, right? And they say reach out to the elderly and see how your neighbor's doing to make sure that they're not dying. But now, because we have this social distancing, you can't do that. So, well, how do you function through that? How do you function through? Okay, well, they can't go to the grocery store. You can't do this or that, but they still have to live. I mean, it's not like we're just fading out. We have to suffer through it together. And if there's a way you can figure it out, I mean, we're some of the best. I think that's one of the points of all this, is that we have to figure out how to do things in different situations, whatever it may be. And I think our human race, I mean, it's racist, but we're the human race. And so we've got to figure out how to make the best of what we're given. I mean, the 1600s, it was the golden age, and you had all these, great castles in the sky, and then you go over to the Wild Wild West in the 1800s, and they're shitting in a little throw to wooden shack. And but they had these big porcelain baths, but no. So we adapt, we overcome, and you will do that too. So just keep doing it. I guess that's my thought, is that we just need to keep doing it. Keep over-adapting, keep overcoming. Over-adapting, not over-adapting. Keep adapting, overcoming. Just and keep a sense of humor about it, because I mean, if you get depressed through all this, and it's very depressing, and suicides and domicile household calls are up, but I mean, if you're alive and you're hearing this, just keep on keeping on, and things will work out. I'm concerned. I'm very concerned. I've been concerned, but I'm not looking to the government to say open up the houses of worship so we can, all come together. That's gonna do the thing. That's the big ticket. Yeah, that's the ticket. Yeah, open up the houses of worship so we're all together. Yeah, and but no, there's the minutia of it all, the little things, the micro. Get into the micro. Talk to your neighbor. Social distance with your neighbor. Grab a stick that's 6 feet long. Make sure you all don't come in contact with each other. But talk to each other. Find out what they're talking about. Find out what they're thinking. Find out what they think the others are thinking. Spiderweb it out. Web it out. I don't even think that was the part of why I started streaming. If I think of it, I'll make another stream. In any case, I love you. Good evening and good night.